So let's continue on with the Caleb Williams talk. And to comment on what Coach Lynn said here, the body language of him laying on the ground is a really bad look. If you guys don't know what he's talking about, go back and watch it. Go to Twitter. You can find it. He gets hit or sacked. He's laying on the ground. And as he's laying on the ground, he kind of throws his arms up like, what do y'all want me to do? What am I supposed to do type thing. The defender helps him up and pats him on the head like, good little boy. And it's just like, your teammates see that stuff.
Yeah.
You me tell you what should have happened right there. As he patted him on the head, Caleb should have turned around and said, this is worth 15. I'm going to knock this dude on his ass, and my teammates are going to come help me, and we're going to try to get something going, right? Happened with LaFleur earlier in the year. This is a real thing, and maybe it's a baseball background in me. Managers in Major League Baseball, they know when their team's flat, all right, I don't care if this is a ball or a strike. If he calls it a ball, I'm going to argue it's a strike. If he calls it a strike, I'm going to argue it's a ball. I'm going to go out here and get ejected and show my team my damn head's in the game. We got to get something going, right? And it's that type of stuff that makes your team, it galvanizes your team into think, okay, look, this is our guy. Let's get behind him. He doesn't have any of that. He just doesn't have it. And DJ Moore damn sure isn't bringing it. Who on that team, who on that offense is that spark plug? Who's that guy that's bringing that juice? Your starting tackles are out, right? DJ Moore's quitting on plays, and Caleb Williams is laying on the field going, I don't know. And again, when I seen him do that, all I could see was him in his mom's arms in the stands. That's all I could see.
Dude, it's like imagine you coming into work every week and you got you're doing the same thing, it's same mundane routine tasks, and then you got a project on Friday, or you're hitting the end of the quarter, whatever, you're trying to make your numbers and everyone's just flat. No one had their coffee, everyone showed up late. I mean, like, how does it feel coming to practice every week? Like, dude, we have just gotten worse ever since that Washington game. Like, we have seen no improvement. There's no life basically since that. Is how are we going to get anywhere with this team right now? You don't see it. It's not like it's just going to appear. Someone has to do that. Like you said, during lacrosse, football, whatever, I used to take a lot of penalties in lacrosse because I would just try to go and lay somebody out just to set the tone. Like, I will come clear across and just take that dude's head off if that's what we have to do. You get the whole sideline sparked up. I mean, I had my coach screaming at me, put me at the end of the bench one time, kids coming down, high-fiving you, all that, don't talk to them type thing. But that's where you get a little bit of spark. Then you get somebody out there and just, fire them up. If it's not there, you gotta bring it.
Yep. I agree, man. Greg Rice said this didn't age well. Caleb Williams texts his new teammate punter Tory Taylor, quote, hey, you're not going to punt too much here, after the Bears drafted Taylor in the 4th round of the NFL draft. Now, we showed a stat last night. I already deleted the screen grab, but Tory Taylor, Emilio, has more punt yards than Caleb Williams has total yards on the year.
Total. That includes running? I thought it was just passing.
It said total on the graph.
Wow. Because I thought he was 150 more than Caleb in punts, just passing yards. Dude, the fact that he's about to break $4,000 in punts and Caleb's not even going to break 3,500. But I will say I did pull a Tory Taylor in Ultimate Team the other night. So I do have a 91 punter now. And I mean, I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen Caleb in Ultimate Team. I mean, nobody wants his card. It's not like he's going for 1.5 mil.
Oh man. The Madden talk has officially entered the chat.
Madden and college football. The college football Tory Taylor was a legend card, a 91 legend card. And when have I seen Caleb? When they haven't made a card for Caleb Williams? Come on now.
Oh man, you go in the marketplace to try to sell that Tory Taylor card. And somebody's going to offer you a bag of Doritos. You know what I mean? Like, just saying, sponsor the show. But that's hilarious, man. You're hopped up over a punter on Madden Ultimate Team. I love
Unbelievable.
It. 2024. I mean,
that's probably what they feel like. They're probably wishing that they got something like that out of Caleb.
Ron Samble in the chat says DJ Moore's mad because Roma Dunze gets to pick out the fingernail colors.
Dang. Maybe they can get matching ones, or they all go. Maybe they have a nail salon in Chicago they all go to before a game.
Exactly. Oh man, since we were talking about Caleb, let's call an audible here real quick, and let's look at some of these sacks. That sound good to you, man?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I was just talking about that. Like I said before, They are 31st at 4.1 per game. I tell you who's tied for the first in the league. Three person tie between Buffalo, Baltimore, and Green Bay at 1.3 per game.
There you go. There you go.
That's all it is, man. You got to build that wall around J Love.
I love it when you say build the wall. It cracks me up. All right, so here are all the sacks that Caleb Williams took, all 9 of them against New England. Again, this isn't to go, look how bad they are. Let's what'd you say?
Just the way you said that. Here's all the sacks, all 9 of them.
I think it was 9, man, if I remember right. So this isn't to go, look how bad the Bears suck. Let's try to understand how are they hitting home, okay? And the one thing I want you guys to key in on, some of these sacks is on the O-line, don't get me wrong, but there's some that are like, he's back there for 6 seconds. A stat that I mentioned yesterday, got read on the air there at on the McAfee show yesterday is where I heard it from, that he leads the league in sacks in which quarterbacks hold the ball for more than 4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible, absolutely horrible. But let's key it up here. This is a sack here against New England, and let's see if we can pick up on what happened here. You see them at the line. They're in a nasty split. Looks like a 12 personnel to me, right? 12 nasty out of the ace. A little sift block. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's unbelievable that he holds the ball as long as he does. Let's see what second mark here real quick. Ball snapped at the 5-second mark. Now, look up top here. Right there's your safety valve. Yep. You got a little climb here. You could try to thread the needle if you want, but you got to get the ball. He's looking right at him. Hammer that thing in there. Unless it's a 3rd and long here. Let's see what the down and distance was. 2nd and 7. That's the perfect time to just hammer that little out route. You see what I'm saying? Hammer that. Maybe he can make a guy miss, move the chains instead. Again, 5 seconds. Let's see when he gets sacked. Boom. So it was 5 to 10. So he held it for 5 seconds on that play.
And with that out route, and the thing was they had a 3-person route. That tight end didn't leak until the very end. I mean, that's bad. You got to dump that. Take your yards right there. 3 yards is open in the NFL. 3 yards of separation is open. You got to take that.
Let's see about this out route over here too. Look at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see someone work and out. It almost looked like a pivot. Maybe it was a choice sit, and then he's going to work out. So like right here, he's in trouble. Even right there, he's not even. If he's getting hit and trying to throw this, and you go, hey man, he tried to do what he could. He's not even anticipating this guy to break off that route and run to the space. That could have been a huge play. So
you run it back one more time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to see. So he's coming out here. We got a deep drop. 1, 2, 3. That's what, a 5-7 step drop, long play action. And no, once you hit the top of your step, you look left, center up, square up. He reset. Boom. 2, 3. Dude, that's got to be gone. You got to just huck that thing.
And you look at that and you go, that ain't on the offensive line. Like they held up great.
Right. You know, that whole time he's sitting there holding right trigger, he's ready to run out of there. You know what I mean? Ready to peel out of there, but it's not happening, dude. You're waiting too late. You're seeing ghosts, it seems like.
Right. Here's a sack on 3rd and 7. All right. They're in New England territory. These are the ones that'll kill you. You're in field goal range, and you're going to take a 7-yard loss and making this field goal even more difficult, or even potentially knocking you out of field goal range here. Okay. So let's watch this play. Let's see, kind of look at what we're lined up in here. To me, this looks like that's an awful big receiver there. I'm sure that is a receiver. This looks like 11 personnel to me. Yep. So it's 11. They're going to go Trey Wright. So it's Bunch Wright. Trey Bunch Wright is the call. You're going to go T weak. Let's see what Caleb does on this play. Ball snapped. Yeah, dude, you got to get rid of that freaking football. Like, how many seconds was that one, Emilio? That was well over 2.5. I know that. Let's see. Let's look at the second mark here. All right. Let's see. Give it a second. Sorry on the pod. We're trying to get an idea of exactly what's going on. So it's snapped at 13 seconds. And Caleb Williams is sacked at 17 seconds. So 4 seconds he held on the football.
That's brutal. You see them, they're all in a NASCAR package. Everyone's standing up. They even flip sides. That whole time right here, he runs motion. Pop that playoff right here. They're trying to figure out, who's going here? Let me flip sides. Okay, everybody, let's make sure the Patriots are set.
You guys ready now?
Yeah, like what are we doing, dude? If you have two dudes crisscrossing over, over your one tech, that thing needs to be snapped.
And look here, I think that might be DJ Moore number 2, but
He's
that
got a
might
step.
be, yeah. Like get rid of the freaking football. Let that thing go. Just let it go. Look right here, working back across the middle. Now, by then, he maybe didn't have time to get rid of it here. Let's see, it's 13, so he's going to pivot. Yeah. You can anticipate that, too, a little touch pass over top of that backer.
Yeah.
He's just playing scared, man. There's no two ways about it.
Who was it? I think it was Lombardi was saying it's 3 games. He hasn't had a touchdown or a pick in 3 games.
Right.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah. Now, right here, you get some immediate penetration, right? Play action. There's the penetration. Step up. You see, he moves in the pocket to run. He doesn't move in the pocket to throw. You know what I'm saying?
His head goes down. Once he sees pressure, his head's down. He's not looking upfield and moving.
And look at this little leak off to the right here. Right here. Like if you're aware at the end of this play, right, step up, dump it right there. See your guy right there. There's just none of that. It's just let me try to get out of this crap hole that we've created.
That's brutal. That's terrible. That's where is our man Buck? That is just
terrible.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to another one here. This set you're going empty.
Oh.
All right, this is going to be lovely, right? And all right, now you're going to shift to all right. So you came
out.
All
right, bring in Max Protect. We'll keep 7 in.
You went 11 empty, and then you brung them back in, and now you're in a double sidecar. Looks like your tight end's on the right there. Okay. New England's seen something they got real happy about. You see them jumping up and down. Yeah, that's bad, bro. That's
what I like? That right there, that's what Coop did. I mean, that's a scrape, that's a thing, but I like how they're basically in NASCAR and the Bears are confused, man. They are honestly, I know that they had backup tackles in and stuff, but you get everybody standing up, you get 1 or 2 scrapes or ET stunts, it's over. They're having issues.
Bro, double A gap mug and Tampa 2. That's what you're going to see this week. That's going to be the recipe. Now, here's what's beautiful. People are going to be pissed because we might not come out and get a bunch of sacks, but you're going to be playing 97 touch or 55 touch or 90 touch.
Yep.
Occupy the double team, get back because Caleb's going to want to try to rush. You've seen him. He's tried to rush up the middle almost every single play here.
And we don't want Danny, we don't want a Tommy DeVito game.
Tommy Cutlets, right?
Yeah, we don't need that.
All right, let's move it along. So here we are in, it looks like 11 personnel. Again, we're going to settle in at Trey Wright, T Week.
But look at how the Patriots are lined up, though, man. Like every single time they've got a sack, they have 5 to 7 guys standing on the line, and you got X down right there. That's either X or that's going to be Key coming right, or that could be even Evan. Evans chased him down once or twice before. He knows what it's like. He's trying to chase a chicken in the field, right?
It's the same look we showed with McKinney on his blitz right here. You've got the safety rode down, right? And again, watch Caleb. Caleb's got to know what the protection here. If you've got, let's see what the protection is. Hindsight's 2020, right? Okay, so you got the T staying in, right? So you're going T safe right here, which means you've got a 6-man protection. Mm-hmm. And how many are they bringing? Looks like they're bringing one more than 6, right? They're bringing 7 here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with a 6-man. Caleb's got to know which guy he's getting, and it's going to be this defender off the edge here. So he's got to know, listen, it's a simple arithmetic. A dumb redneck born and raised in Kentucky who lives in Tennessee can figure out 7 is more than 6. Someone is coming untouched, right? Mm-hmm. That's what's going to happen here. So you got to know where your hot is, right? Ball snap. You got to know where you're going with the football here. I don't even see a hot read on this. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even think. Look, they had to cover one over the top. I don't even think they ended up bringing. They still. I think they had enough players. I think they had as many blockers as they had, and the running back takes the inside guy, which you're probably supposed to do in that. You take the most dangerous dude busting through the line, but that top guy ends up staying in coverage. Dude, you just get a linebacker blitz up the middle. He's got to accept that. The tackle and the guard got crisscrossed, and it was over, dude. You're paying attention to what's going on in the middle. Let the dude right out the outside.
Yeah, and it looks like one of his own players ends up on top of him here too. Look at this. It's at the bottom of the pile. Oh, man. So it's a mess in Chicago. That's the moral of the story here, guys. It's a mess.
What's
It's a
that,
good look at it.
39? Yep.
Yeah. It's a good look right here. So, yeah, let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we're bringing 7. Let's see if one drops out. Yeah, you're bringing 7. You get a little TE right here off the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Caleb, I mean, he doesn't know whether to crap or go blind, so he closed one eye and farted. That dude is.
And all it took right there was 95. Was 95 pulling that double team from the center guard, pulls it across, and then that allowed that linebacker scrape to come right behind him.
Yeah. All right, one more, and then we'll move along here. We'll hit on a couple other topics. But just wanted to kind of get an idea of, all right, what did New England do to cause problems here? The majority of it is blitzing, right? You haven't seen a 4-man rush yet. They're bringing the house again. You see Caleb, his first reaction isn't, where's the open receiver? It's let me run around in the pocket.
It's let me cook. Will you guys just go out there and run your routes and just let me cook, please?
Yeah, it's crazy. Another 7 yards lost there. So
I bet that's what he gets in the huddle. All right, you know what? Just block this time. All right, get over. Let me just cook. Give me the ball and get open.
It's bad news, no doubt about it, man. And
they got a blocker on either side. You got a chipper on either side. Okay, all right, and we still let pressure in.
There's just no answer to the equation. And
I think even the running back. Look at the running back at the end there. Just give me the last 3 seconds. He looks at his tackle. Dude, what are you doing? How'd you let that over here? Turns around. Bro, you really let him get sacked again?
Look at Caleb. Caleb's just like, man, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Anyway, it's a dumpster fire, boys. It's a dumpster fire. So one of the players that he's going to have to deal with this Sunday, hopefully, is going to be Evan Williams returning from injury. I hope he can go on Sunday because he has been the big difference maker in this defense. Matt Schneidman tweeted, John Miller of NBC 26 tweeted this out. Safety Evan Williams has yet to experience the Packers versus Bears rivalry. However, a dinner with Green Bay legend Leroy Butler, God, I love it, gave him some perspective on how truly big it is. Leroy is on the board now, right? And I love that board in Green Bay is comprised of former Packer players. There's a ton of them there. There's successful business owners and stuff too, but they got football minds in and around the building. Mark Murphy, who's the president, CEO, former player. There was people I know in the comments saying Ryan Poles actually played ball. He played college ball, whatever. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about older guys put in leadership positions where this can trickle down through the entire organization, right? Yep. You got a Hall of Famer in Leroy Butler on that board. You got Mark Murphy, who, by the way, he won a Super Bowl, I think. Didn't he win a Super Bowl that year in the strike year? He led the league in interceptions as a safety. He went on to be the athletic director at Northwestern, if I remember correctly. So he's been in leadership roles, both as a player and as a college director, and then he steps into that. Everybody like to look at Mark Murphy like he's just this bumbling idiot, and he's the farthest thing from it. One of the most successful guys to run through this organization. And I'm telling you, man, a lot of the success the Packers have come from Mark Murphy doing what he's done there, running the whole show.
65%. That's what
I love it. So, again, you got all this leadership in place, and here you got a rookie who's already off to a great start. What's he doing, Emilio? He getting time with Leroy Butler. This is awesome. Let's see what he had to say here at his locker.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, you try to get, just a piece of the history, try to feel, those emotions going into the game. I was actually talking to Leroy Butler the other day. I had dinner with him, and he was kind of filling me in on just like, all the rivalry, how far back it goes, and just the, the intensity that you feel on the field when, us two, face off. So, you kind of just try to, hone that energy, and so that when you get on the field, you can kind of just let it all out. No, yeah, definitely.
Love to see it, man. You can't, Emilio, that's something that you can't like. A player's got to want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and when you talk about maturity, that's what I think of when I see Evan Williams. It ain't just this one comment, but remember back. What did they say? After the Packers drafted him, he crushed the interviewing process, right? Mm-hmm. Check it off the list. You hear him reaching out and grabbing dinner with a Hall of Famer who knows what it's like to play in Green Bay, and specifically this week, play against the Bears in this huge rivalry. Check it off the list. Remember when he forced the fumble earlier in the year and the DBs, the entire defense went down and celebrated? What did he do? He went straight to the bench and sat down. Telling you, dude, we're going to look up in 2 years and go, this dude's the leader of this defense. It's going to happen.
Yeah, he's a lunch pail kind of guy. Absolutely. We need to bring that back, get him the gold chain, the dog. You know, when you go into Georgia, they put the spike shoulder pads on. That's the kind of stuff he does, but it's a lead by example type. And you hear it in all of his interviews. It's not even just it's not even just probably the one that he crushed with the Packers. Every time the dude gets in front of a mic, he speaks well. He knows what's going on. He's not, in the clouds. He's not, in the dumps. It's
right.
He really brings that right attitude every day. Not worried about the money, just wants to play football, be as best he can, and just live it up. And like you said, getting that experience, that time with Butler, man, you got to want that a little bit. You can't just poke around and be like, oh, hum-hoing about it. To make that happen, you got to have determination, dedication, get up out of bed, whatever it is, early morning, get an extra lifting in the morning so you can go have dinner with him at night type thing. And that's what this team does, man, but especially Evan.
Yeah, and one of the keys to leadership is like what you hit on. You hit the nail on the head. It's you never get too high, you never get too low, right? And I remember when Aaron Rodgers took over as the starter in Green Bay, this is way back in the, let's say it's probably around 2009, 2010-ish when they won the Super Bowl. They talked about him in the huddle. He never got rattled. He was always just calm, cool, collective, and it was just like that. That's what you're looking for in a leader. Now, as Aaron got older, obviously, he got a lot more antsy. He got a lot more ornery, hateful, right? You could see him constantly getting upset and frustrated. But that type of stuff from a young player is just so rare that you see from Evan Williams. Like Javon Bullard, a little bit high-strung. And that's not to say that he can't be a great player and he's not going to be and all that. But when you get a young player that responds that way, man, it's huge. It's the majority of the battle's fought.
I honestly think he's got a lot of patience built in, that he's just calm, cool, collected, and it's he's just able to stay even keeled. That I think is the most key thing. You're never going to blow up. You're not sitting there hot-headed, like you said. You're not going to just explode on somebody, tweak out on your teammate. Go try to take your helmet off and smash his helmet in just because you missed a pass or he hit you after the whistle or something like that. It's like, okay, all right, bet I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to store that one away. We're going to go back at it. It's going to be another, between the whistles kind of fight.
Yeah. Crossfire in the chat. Good to see you, pal. Says Clayton, how do you think the offense will look going forward? Well, you had one of the more dominant offenses in the league, so you don't want to change too much, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that comes to mind for me, if Jordan Love truly is healthy now, early on, the MCL kept them from going to ace formation more because of Jordan having to bend his knees, right? And then lo and behold, he tweaks the groin. Same exact problem. You got to limit how much you're under center in ace. And what I mean by that is, think about it. In shotgun, if you got a bum knee or you got a sore groin, in shotgun, you're standing up, you're good, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have to go under center, you're bending both of those legs, both of those knees, right? I think we'll see more ace sets. Now, here's what's cool. You could tell LaFleur shifted, which is something we called in the offseason. He shifted the pistol, which essentially is an ace set. It's a back set, but you're still in the gun, right? It's a shallow gun, running back directly behind the quarterback. We talked about it to nauseum, right? That the reason it's so valuable to have ace over a sidecar is both stretch plays are on the table, right?
Yeah.
Both plays.
And I honestly feel like you can sell that play action. I mean, obviously just because of the stretch, but even if you're just turning your side completely, you know what I mean, and getting that ball way out there, shooting it way out, instead of just, you're standing up at shotgun, it's put the ball out in front of you 2 feet or a foot and just pull it back in or give it off. Here, you're at least showing all the linebackers see it over here. It's on this side. And you could even sprint out same side, you fake it, you know what I mean? But just getting it out there and making the defense commit to seeing it.
Yeah, it's funny too. I hadn't even seen this comment till you pulled it up. And that's exactly what he said. Do you think we'll do more under center?
Yeah.
I really do. And what Emilio's saying is play action in pistol is more effective than gun, right? Normal gun sidecar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But play action in under center is more effective than pistol, right? So now that Love is healthier, I think you'll see some more of that. It's going to open up the play action even more.
Mm-hmm.
It also allows the running back to gain momentum on their way to the line of scrimmage, right? It's absolutely huge. When you're in the gun, it's a quick shuffle to the right or left, grab the ball, and then you've got to get going upfield. Out of ace formation or anything under center, that running back's getting a run and go at the line, right? And to me, that better suits Josh Jacobs than starting from a stop position and shuffle and go, although he's proven he can do that. You get him under ace or running out of ace a little bit more, single back.
Yeah, Josh is definitely more Derrick Henry downhill than Christian McCaffrey, joystick side to side type stuff. That's the truth. He has it, but I would much rather have him get 2-3 steps going downhill before any contact or before he has to make that cut. And two, I think it will eventually open up the running game a little bit more. If we can turn his back, then it's like, okay, if you run that handoff, stretch right 3 times in the first quarter, you kind of space them out 3 times. Second quarter early, 2nd and 2 or something, you run that same stretch, hit the shot play, and then the rest of the game, that stretch might be a little bit more open now because of that last time you ran that shot play off of it, or you hit the dragon wheel, and that wasn't the dragon wheel on a fake stretch type thing. So we see in our explosive plays come off of play action, but it's being able to get there and sell it. We haven't been able to have that with Love being as injured as he's been.
Yeah, and Matt LaFleur is still scheming these guys open. You're still seeing a lot of slot cross. You're seeing crossers, those double crossers, right? We've seen those. That's where you hit Tucker Kraft on the 66 or 67 yarder up the sideline, right?
Yep.
That was a crosser concept. You've seen the dragon wheel, right? Yep. Like you were talking about. The thing that you haven't seen here lately is dagger. So if we're back under center, and this will be my answer to your question, Crossfire. If we're back under center and we're doing play action, look for that 5-step deep drop, play action, dagger. And what I mean by dagger is imagine 2 receivers on one side of the formation, okay? The outside receiver is your 1, the inside receiver is your 2. In a dagger concept, your 2 will run a go route, and your 1 will run a dig underneath it, okay? And again, that's just a 2x2 set you can run that out of, right? Now, another portion of dagger concept is if you want to go 12 personnel. In this last game, they showed 12 personnel where they went like a strong right look, both tight ends on one side of the formation out of ace. Yep. You can also run a dagger concept where your receiver on each side, this is how you can run dagger. It's the same. Dagger concept is real simple. Clear out route, and it can be a shot route. It can be a shot play. And then a dig or a crosser underneath. So you're clearing it out for the crosser, or they're hammering down on the crosser or the dig, and that's going to open up single coverage on the shot play. So you can do that out of 12 personnel, 12 ace, and run it across the formation, meaning this guy can run a dig or vice versa, or a go or vice versa, go route, and then across the formation, a deep dig, right? That's dagger concept as well. That's more of what Shane Waldron did in Seattle. They had a lot of success with the dagger concept from the outside receivers, essentially running on the entire field, not just one side of the formation. But he had a ton of – that's what got him the OC job in Chicago, was what he did with Geno Smith in Seattle running that dagger concept. So, and you can run dagger off play action like a waggle or something too, right, Emilio? You can still set that up. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and like you said with the 12, deuce or whatever, you got a tight end on either side. And it doesn't have to be just a go, right? I mean, we can run a real deep or skinny post or a real skinny corner. It doesn't have to be just a street clear out route to get it out of there. But I do love that because you open up that second window. And then like you said, let's get a dagger on one side so we can beat, cover 2, cover 3, whatever we want to. That way we have, a backup on the other side that's, maybe a man beater or something like that. We can't just put them in a bind and say, all right, we're only going to have cover 3 beaters this entire play. If not, you got to can out of it before Jordan and see all that. Like, I love that Matt doesn't put them in that type of situation.
Completely agree. And the other thing you can do with out of that 12 personnel is you go stretch, and then run a waggle out of it, right? Oh. You go waggle, and here's what you can do. You can have extra protection with both tight ends playing a leak play. And what I mean by that is you got the dagger concept. Let's say you're 1 on the left. Your 1 left is running the go, and your 1 on the right is running that deep crosser, right?
Yep.
So you waggle out left, you get your quarterback to where early on he looks, if he's got single coverage, set your feet, load that thing up and throw it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you got bracket coverage, you got maybe 2 over the top covering that go route, then you continue to roll left, right? And as you're rolling left, you're working the crosser, and then guess what happens? The protection's done its job. Now those tight ends can leak out, and you can have a little, almost like a drive concept out of a leak play where both tight ends with a drive concept, what you got is the 2, which is the inside, let's say the 2 tight ends
on
that side. Without having the telestrator up, it's hard to explain this. Hopefully I'm doing well enough here. But let's just focus on the tight ends. The inside tight end will run a shallow cross, and the other tight end will leak out and run a dig. That's called drive. You're basically attacking at levels across the field on an inside trajectory. So you can throw that into a leak play. You've got them on the edge. A lot of times on those waggle plays too, what they'll do is the tackle will block down and the guard will pull out. So you got that extra protection to give you more time.
Yeah, and I like seeing that because that also kind of sells the run a little bit too. If you're gonna, either, waggle's probably weak side run, right? If we're handing it off right, we're gonna peel out left. But even if you're doing a sprint, you could do the same thing if you're sprinting right and the plays to the right, pull that guard, or even pull the center. We've seen Josh Myers pull all the way around if he doesn't have someone head up over him and get across. But and like you said, being able to run the waggle, we haven't been able to. How much are we going to ask Jordan Love to open the face of his chest, running left, and throw that ball? And when he did that one throw, he landed on a little funky and didn't like the way it felt. We didn't like the way it looked afterwards. So we can't ask him to do that a bunch of times if he's injured, and then we're going to be upset with him. We're going to be upset with Matt, all that. So I'm just happy that knock on wood, he's feeling better and just ready to kind of open up the offense a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think you're in a good place as a team here. You got to correct the mistakes. The top priority, protecting the freaking football. And number 2, let's clean up some of the penalties. Not all the penalties. Let's have 2 less penalties a game. That can be a huge difference, right? You can't, Rome wasn't built in one day. You can't just all of a sudden all these penalties are going to disappear, but just start chipping away at, hey, let's just get a couple fewer every game, that type of thing. Let's hit the Patreon group here before we wrap up. I appreciate everybody in the Patreon group. If you want to join our Patreon group, scan the QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. You can join one of the 3 tiers in there. That'll get you entered into the contest to win giveaways this season. We're going to be giving away another autographed Romeo Doubs rookie card this week for the post-game show after the Bears game. That was donated by United Bates, the man, the myth, the legend. There you go. So we appreciate him supporting the show. And again, if you join that, we got a bunch of different chats set up. We got a section that's called questions for the show. So anybody who's got a question or a comment for the show, you can put it in there. It works the same as a super chat because you're supporting the show. We want to prioritize that. We appreciate y'all. But Nick McSwain with the first one says, "Sup, fellas? I've heard a lot of talk about Love not being under center and how it's detriment to the team. Was wondering what are the pros and cons of shotgun versus under center versus pistol? What are teams generally trying to accomplish when they line up in these formations?" We kind of hit on it already, yeah. Nick. We'll just real quick, Emilio, I'll give my take. You give your take. The pros and cons out of shotgun. Obviously, shotgun. The quarterback's got his eyes down the field quicker, and it's a little bit less stressful situation for a passing play, right? Mm-hmm. That's the pro of the shotgun, in my opinion. The con would be it limits what you can do out of the running game. You can still run counter out of the gun and run left or right, run weak side, but most of the time, like 75 to 85% of the runs are going across the quarterback's face with that sidecar. So it makes you a little bit one-dimensional in that regard. Under center versus pistol, we kind of talked about it. When you run play action and running game in general is more effective, in my opinion, from under center. Then it's second most effective out of pistol. It's third most effective out of normal gun where you got a sidecar or a double sidecar there. So that's what they're trying to accomplish at the line, in my opinion. Emilio, you got anything you want to add to that, Bob?
Yeah, pros for shotgun would be RPOs are a lot easier if you're looking at, man in front of you, read options, that type of stuff. It's all kind of right there in front of you. But like you said, cons, maybe your drops are different. You're not taking a 5-step drop or, a 7 or 8, 7-9 step drop out of shotgun. You're already 5 yards back. So it's, maybe 2 hitch, step, quick footwork and get the ball out. And then, like you said, pistol, and under center, you can turn your back to the team, or under center, definitely you're turning your back to the defense, which is, potentially a con, but also could be a pro. You sell it, really remember, really Aaron Rodgers, all them, Brett Favre, really duck down, put your entire body into it, sell that whole thing, stick the ball way out there. And, you can really make those work, but I think they both have their pros and cons and places to be, but we need to be able to run both of them. And that's where I think it's, kept us left-handed, or tied one behind our back a little bit.
Yeah, agreed. Cheesehead Murph in the Patreon group said, Watson had a down year last year in my eyes. Wicks had an up year last year. This year it seems to have reversed. If it came down to it, I know they do different things. Which wide receiver would you keep, and which one would you be willing to let go? P.S. I want to keep both. Laughing emoji. So it's a tough question. It's a great question, though, because the reality is you can't keep all these guys. For me, it's you want a certain type of receiver. You want different types of receivers in your receiving core, right? So let's compare their two archetypes, if you will. Christian Watson, size, speed, athleticism. He's that deep threat, right?
Yep.
Dontavion Wicks, separation with his route running ability. So what you got to ask yourself is, on the roster, if you had to choose between those two, where can you make up for letting that player go with another receiver on the team? I personally don't think there's another receiver on the team other than Jayden Reed that's a deep threat. That's just me personally, right? Romeo Doubs is kind of your boundary X. Christian Watson's your deep threat. Jayden Reed is your quintessential flyer / slot receiver. So where's Dontavion Wicks come in at? He can run routes and get open out of the boundary X, right? He can also play slot. We've seen that last year. He was pretty effective at slot. I think he had the highest passer rating when targeted last year from Jordan Love out of the slot, even more so than Jayden Reed. But you got the drops issue. Christian Watson does not have a drops issue, in my opinion. He doesn't. Now, people were giving him hell over misjudging and misplaying that ball at Lambeau the other night. Guys, the wind was howling 20 miles an hour and it was piss pouring in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
That type of stuff's going to happen, right?
I mean, would you rather have that, or would you rather have CeeDee Lamb getting hit in the numbers, getting blinded by his own stadium?
And then Jerry Jones going absolutely off afterwards. Did you hear him? Oh,
no, what'd he say? I missed it.
For you, those of you who don't know, the stadium in Dallas, here we are off top. We're going way over.
My bad.
It's all good. No, this is funny. So the way they built the stadium, they got the glass windows, and they got the sun setting right through the windows. So the sun,
I bet it's gorgeous. I bet it's beautiful.
Yeah, as a fan, right? The receivers are staring right into the sun as they're trying to catch a pass in the end zone. And they mentioned it to Jerry. Yeah, CD said that the sun got in his eyes. And then Jerry snapped their head around and said, "What, you think we don't know where the damn sun sets in our own stadium?" Bro, I love it. Jerry Jones is on his way out. And I'm just telling you right now, as a fan of the NFL, I'm going to miss that old geezer. Because I love that he loves football, and I love that he says the stupidest stuff. It's just great. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you guys, if you get tired of our content, just find anything Jerry Jones related as far as an interview, especially after a bad loss. They're interviewing him next to an elevator coming out of his suite. And I'm telling you, but he's quit. He's fit to be tied. Let me tell you, you think we go down to the pond to kill a frog, the gun goes off, shoot your dog. That's what's wrong with our offense. That's the type of stuff he says. It's hilarious, man. I love it.
And I remember I was looking for it 2 weeks ago after that loss. I don't even think he called in that week to that radio station. It's like, I'm not even going to talk to him about it right now. There's no point. But I could see a couple bucket trucks backing up to the stadium this next week or two and just put some tin up on those windows or something.
Do something. Cover it with TVs or something, right? Holmes in the chat. Jerry sucks even more than this show. Yes, he does. So to answer Cheesehead Murph's question, I'm choosing right now. I'm choosing Christian Watson over Dontavion Wicks. That's just me personally. I think that Romeo can create separation. I think Jayden Reed can, but with what Watson's got with his height advantage, his top end speed, we've seen it earlier in the year. People forget it so quick. Him running that deep crosser where they was just they couldn't touch him. Right. I'm choosing Watson over Wicks. How about you?
I think I'm gonna have to go the same way, but not that I wouldn't pick Wicks because he has had some, he's produced for us, gotten some touchdowns and stuff like that. But I think that having Watson being able to stretch the field push safeties, all that opens up a lot more for the underneath receivers. And if he were to open up something underneath, I think that you could fill that with, maybe a Bo Melton or something like that, or, a Malik Heath. I would also take Watson because he can block more. Not that Wicks hasn't been working. We've seen him grinding out there to get him taken care of, but it's something that Matt's been in there. He has, man, and it's got to be something in the offense. It's got to be part of that whole wide receiver core. They got to accept it, or else it's never going to work.
By the way, guys, we got a new drop in here. Just play it for you once.
How's Brett Favre doing here?
I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
All right, so next Patreon question there. Thank you, Murph. Appreciate you, buddy. Randy Cleaver says, what do you think is hurting us most? Jordan throwing picks, drop passes, or penalties? Yes, the answer is yes. For me, in this order, Randy, they're all important, but in this order, Jordan throwing picks, top priority. It's got to stop, right? If you're gonna go on a run in the playoffs or make the playoffs and go on a run in the playoffs, the interceptions have got to stop. Next would be drop passes for me. Then it would be penalties. In that order, they're all three important, but in that order, I can stomach the penalties if the drops stop and the interceptions stop. What about you?
Honestly, I think I'm going to be opposite of you. I'm going to say penalties first because those are mental mistakes that are like lapses. You know what I mean?
Fixable, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's where it's like that stuff pisses me off. Like Matt needs to be running sprints at the end of practice if we have, another 10, 15 penalties.
Heard it from a fan right here.
Yeah, I think those need to be cut out and be done with it. Love's going to keep throwing picks. It's not like he's going to stop. It's not like he's going to have 0 the rest of the year. So right. Another one's going to happen. Drop passes are going to happen, but I think those get cleaned up a little bit more over time versus if you let like a penalty problem drag out over the year, it's going to stay there pretty much the whole year. If you don't nip it in the butt type thing.
No. And then let's see here. Chris Nichols with the final one says, Clayton, when it comes time to start looking into draft prospects, I'd love to see a deep dive on Tacario Davis. So we had another person ask the other day about a defensive tackle, Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. So that's all of the Patreon questions. Appreciate everybody contributing there. I'm going to end the show real quick with the consensus big board and just hit those two that they talked about. Again, this isn't a deep dive, Chris, obviously, but this will just kind of give you an idea of where they are sitting currently. He asked about Tacario Davis, cornerback, and where that's at right now at the moment, as far as the consensus big board, they've got Tacario Davis in the number 39 spot. He has peaked at 21, okay? So he is the 5th best corner in the draft as it sits right now. They got Travis Hunter, who's an absolute dog out of Colorado, number 1. Will Johnson out of Michigan at number 5. Number 2 corner, 5 overall. Benjamin Morrison, one of my favorite players out of Notre Dame. He's in the 19 spot. He peaked at 10, but he's the 3rd best corner. You've got Siobhan Rebel Jr. out of East Carolina. Look at that.
I love their unis. Use their unis on Ultimate Team 2, Clay, with the purple helmet and the sparkle. Actually, I picked up his card. He's an 88 overall, season 3. I'll take it right now, But,
and then Tacario Davis, like I said, the 5th best corner in the draft. Now, the other one that someone asked about was defensive tackle Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. Let's hit the defensive tackles real quick. And I think we're going to be in the market for a D tackle. That's just me personally. Mason Graham out of Michigan is the top defensive tackle. He's 6th overall. Kenneth Grant's 17th overall, 2nd. So the top 2 defensive linemen are Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. You guys know that's always a red flag to me because it's like, are they both great or is one really good and the other and drawing attention away from the other? You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of that you got to take into consideration. I remember people saying that Rashawn Gary was going to be a bust and it was Chase Winovich that was going to be really good, right? And it ended up being the opposite. I think Chase Winovich might be out of the league now, and Rashawn Gary is one of the highest paid edge defenders. So number 3.
Who?
Number 3 yeah. Number 3 is Deion Walker out of Kentucky. I got to mention my Kentucky.
And come on, number 4. Don't leave out number 4. With the 24th pick, the Green Bay Packers select Walter Nolan, D lineman out of Ole Miss.
Walter Nolan sounds like somebody's grandpa back home in Kentucky, does it not? Like, seriously, I'm pretty sure he snuck me chewing tobacco when I was 12 years old.
Yeah, He walked in there.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Boy, just chew on this. It'll be fine. Exactly right. So there you go. There's a little bit of early draft talk. I guarantee you we lost some subs right now because people get pissed when you talk about the draft during the season. We will never be deep diving draft talk during the season, but if listeners ask, we'll hit on a couple, because it's never too early to start talking draft, really isn't. So, Emilio, you got anything else, bub?
No, man. Happy Wednesday. I'm glad the injury report looked as it did. I'm just happy the receipt hasn't gotten longer. We talked about that earlier in the year. Let's keep it short and keep that D-line rotating. I think those hockey lines are still going to come into effect. It's just new lines, right? The seniors graduated, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, you all got to step up, and it's about time.
Yep, definitely. Prince in the chat said, fun PTA fact. If you watch this show in Australia, the vortex created by the sucking swirls in the opposite direction. And then Chris N confirms this show definitely sucks, but I do love it. So
appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Matter of
You
fact,
heard it from a fan right here.
There you go. Emilio, thanks for jumping on, buddy. It's good to have you back.
Oh,
I know
always.
Tim will be back here in a few days. He's got some stuff he's taking care of. I'll be back tomorrow morning for Good Morning Lambeau if everything goes as planned. And then we'll do an evening show tomorrow night as well. We may break down some tape with Chicago. We'll dive a little bit deeper into some of the insights for the matchup coming up. I feel like we got a pretty good grab on what Chicago is and what the Packers are. You can't overlook them. You can't overlook any team in this league, that's for sure. But it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of dive a little bit deeper and see what they're doing well, what they're not doing well. But again, Emilio, thanks for your time, buddy. We appreciate it.
Always, man. Appreciate you.
All right, guys, we'll see y'all tomorrow. As always, let's go out and be the change that we want to see in the world. Go Pack, go.
That is a possum in a dumpster.